Right, hello, hello, hello. Everybody should be able to hear me. Looks like it's moving. Happy to report that I fixed the chat thing, so I have chat back in there. It's easy to see again. Not on like this weird monitor that I have to constantly turn my head for. So it's Monday, but it looks like things are moving. Ah, sound is good. Cool. Wow, no, you're in red today. I guess it like assigns colors, but you're in red. The bad guys are in red. Um, Yeah. So, yeah, I yawned. Apologize for yawning, but that's kind of what the markets are doing right now. Currencies, you can see, totally flat. Really no news catalyst today. And even if you look at the hottest news out there, it's a there's a couple small things like Bostic basically being, thanking. It's like, wow. He's like, thank you. We've had such a great working relationship. And here at the Atlanta Fed, it's like, oh my God, buddy, you're not doing much. So I don't know. Uh, I'm here for the comments. I love this first comment right here. Um, Another robbery, right? We're gonna take Abramov's $50 million rent, mansion now. Not sure what we're gonna do with it, but I love the comments. Another robbery. U.S. calls it sanctions, but it's robbery only, nothing else. That property will end up in the private hands of some chosen Democrats for free, most likely. Um, and then another one. I don't understand is America's making noise about sanctions. Why is a man like that not sanctioned? Wonder what others did to not be sanctioned. So it's funny. This is like the one dude that actually is not a bad guy. It's like, listen, I'll give Chelsea away with the political situation right now being an owner. It makes sense. We'll turn it loose. And like I feel like this guy. It's like because he's well known and he's branched out and done other things. I feel like he's getting targeted. I feel bad for the guy at this point. It's like he's like, listen, I shouldn't, I've done amazing things. I've brought Chelsea back from nothing and I'll give it away and they don't have to pay any of the debt back that I personally paid to fund the team. And, you know, there are people on that team that profited from that guy basically paying debt, debts that he said they would never have to pay back. And yet let's still take everything that the guy has. It's like, uh, it's like, I don't know. Not every Russian is a bad person. Like, oh no, you know, we'll see. Besides that, I mean, we really have no news. Basically, we're going to fight climate change, according to Lagarde. We're going to fight climate change, but it's going to make inflation worse. But in the long term, it'll be deflationary, right? Okay. Um, yeah. The reason we can't just jump to EV right now is because again, look at nickel. We don't have the grids for it, so it's great that she's like, oh, it'll be deflationary. No, it just means that we won't be buying, you know, fossil fuels, right? We won't be using, oil, but we need other things to do the EV piece, right? It just means we shift from one thing to another, like rare metals, right? We need metals. We would still need metals, right, to go that way. So yeah, it's nice that she wants to do renewables, but yeah, that technology takes things, so we would just shift it from one to the other. But thank you for making some statements that aren't true. Um, Bosick says we are not wed to only moving 50 basis points. So yeah, this guy, he's just he's kind of a waste of space in my opinion. Like he makes such weird comments. Yeah, we need to move now, but not yet. Well, what is it? Pick one, right? Um, I think this is an interesting set this morning as well. Talking about the higher energy prices, this is definitely something that again, we're getting a little bit of reprieve right now in gas prices because of state governors basically saying, you know what, we're gonna do a tax halt, right? We're not gonna charge you taxes on it, which again hurts the local municipalities that are not collecting that tax money, right? The states, and yet the federal government's not doing it. I don't know. I feel like they're trying to not be in power anymore. I don't know. Maybe they don't. I don't know. Maybe they don't want the job. But yeah. But obviously, this is what comes into what the first 2008. It was the $4 mark was kind of like up. We're hurting the economy now because people aren't driving. Um, so we'll see. But again, the German economic rebound in Q2 will be much weaker than expected. Does that mean forever? No. I mean, it'll come back eventually. But will it come at the same rate? Maybe not. And again, when you say German, it kind of means EU. Um, Todd was mentioning, and I think incorrectly, the reason why oil is higher is this morning because it's really the only mover is because of the EU maybe cutting it off. The EU has already said they can't cut it off, as well as they don't make the EU or the ECB does not make economic decisions for all European countries. That's why there's a fault with it, right? Um, they all have their own individual economic policies, so it's nice that they're making those comments. But the reason why oil has moved is because of this. I don't know when regular rebels, like these are rebels, right? You think rebels, you think dudes in an old pickup truck that has no roof on it with like a, a gun, right? That's movie rebels, right? But no, rebels have gone high tech. They were using drones and missile strikes now. So they got all the latest high tech, you know? They got it from somewhere. Yeah. So, you know, going after the big things, liquefied natural gas, water distillation, oil facilities, and power stations are not necessarily the best thing, but yeah, there are battles in other places going on. So, besides the Ukraine. Right now, it's interesting. There's been a lot of talk back and forth. I guess Yugoslavia this morning basically said we are not going to peacefully give you this city. We're not gonna you know we're not gonna surrender in that city. So we can peacefully get people out. I'm kind of surprised because I don't know. There's going to be no city left. Russia's just like, okay, we'll just keep bombing it then if you don't want to do it. So I don't know. I'm not sure exactly. I don't know. I'm not sure what the take is, but I mean, at this point, I don't think we can sanction Russia anymore, and they're not going to stop. So, unless they create, some type of peace between the two, I think it's inevitable that Russia just eventually takes over. I mean, I don't know. A lot of people are like, oh, they're grinding. It's grinding. They're grinding to a halt in other areas. Yeah, because all their focus is in one. It doesn't mean that they can't. Yugoslavia or not Yugoslavia, the Ukraine can't win a war of attrition against Russia. So, I mean, I guess they can lose their entire nation. And Russia says, okay, it's been turned into a rebel playground. You can have it back again. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the end game is there. I feel like they should be getting closer, but there's no real headlines from it at all, except that, you know, oh, here's some economic consequences. Is that for everybody? Nah, it's global humanitarian aid, geopolitical, and strategic fallout. Yep, got it. It's hard to comprehend. Overestimated by the benefits of traditional military offense. Underestimated the defensive properties of a globalized economy. I don't think Russia cares. The economic and financial weather is being persecuted by the United States and its allies against Russia's unprecedented. Um, yeah, yeah, Russia's economic growth since it has been predicted. Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be interesting if they don't take Russian oil anymore. Because if they decide that they're not going to take Russian oil, Russia's a big producer inside of OPEC Plus. Then does that mean that OPEC Plus would potentially cut off Europe as well? And they could. They potentially could. Again, there's one giant out there that I think needs to be talked about: China. If Russia can't sell it to, Europe, right? If people don't take it and it's half price, China absolutely 100%, 1,000% would be like, yeah, we'll take it. You're going to give it to us for half price? We will absolutely take it. And they'd be stupid not to. I mean, come on, really? Like, I mean, the United States was founded on, capitalism. Wait a second. I mean, Southwest only exists because of hedging and capitalism, getting things at a cheaper price. If China could solidify themselves into the future and have a lifetime oil contract with Russia at half the price to where they have a surplus of oil for as long as they want it, they're absolutely in a million years going to take that deal. Yeah. So that's good, Europe. Let's strengthen the one major adversary out there that is committing more genocide than any other country in the world. Right? They're actively committing genocide. They're about to stomp over Taiwan, and there's nothing anybody can say because it's not acknowledged on an international level. So, yeah. Hi there, Slayer. How you doing, buddy? So, with that, let's dive in and we'll see what we can find. Like I said, there's not a whole lot moving. Here's that kind of Tesla spike at the beginning of the day. So, you can see right now the Aussie dollar minus 0.01. It's not moving right now. We talked about a level of basing here, and again, we hit it and we kind of based. We weren't really looking for much. We have a level up here at 74.62. If we look back, you can see that actually came from this level right here, and this was back from November of last year. It hit it once and came back down. It was really only the first retest, so it's not horrible, but that's really the next line that we're looking for in the sand, and it's going to take a little bit of Aussie weave strength, but it's only about 43 pips, so it absolutely can get up to that level. But right now, I would say top and bottom wise, um, not surprised that it turned here, but that's a little big for me. That's 15 pips in this pair. A little bit big for me to be able to say that, listen, we should have went long from here. Not concerned about this anymore. We've chopped through it enough. It's not really going to give us anything. We really kind of need some movement, right? Really kind of need a new level. So, two potential shorts for the Aussie dollar that we have right now is 47.62 and then again 72.81 down south. Let's see if there's a, if, and this is a big if this was the top, because we're kind of at this top right now, So again, wouldn't be surprised if it pulled back down again. The 50 is showing up right around that same Harry Potter, so there maybe, right? Maybe something there, but currently right now we're about 125 pips. It's 2 days worth of an ATR, so really not much more that we can, you know, it's not really worth focusing on right now. We don't really have the movement. So I'd say the biggest threat to this one right now is the fact that we have the US session just opening up, and this is kind of an overnight little high area, and we did spike in the last hour up to it. So could we turn and roll back down? Yeah, probably. It's definitely something that's possible, and I'd say, look to take profit around 73.57. Let's see, how much of a move is it? It's about 45, so yeah, it'd be a decent Monday. Um, yeah, I, Slayer. When I've looked at it in the past, like occasionally I'll kind of see what else is on there. I feel that there is way too many people that are just they have music on there and they have a stock chart up and they're playing poker. So yeah, I wish that they would. I wish they would clean it up a little bit, right? Um, yeah, that's good because we are very risk averse here too. So all right, so um, let's go down to ASEAN. ASEAN, similar situation. We knew we had some larger time frame levels. Let's see if this helps us at all. A little bit, right? A little bit. So if this is a high here, we know this 88.52 level was on the higher time frames. You can see that this chopped through and pulled back to it in the overnight, which is fine. Those work. We can technically use that, I guess. Um, I'd say this one. This is the same kind of scenario, right? We're at the open. Whoops, we're at the open right now, and again, there's a level right here. Nice little burst up. It makes sense why the burst occurred, right? We had a nice little pop here, and that's the exact same pop. So if this one turns and rolls back to the downside, not surprising whatsoever. Trying to give us some type of momentum on a Monday morning. 1 to 3 is only sitting right there, so it's not even that big of a run. Let's see how many pips is that down. It's about 30. So again, another decent Monday trade. Same thing. If you're gonna, get in one of these positions, make sure the profit is taken out right there. You guys should be good until that time, right? Um, we should be able to get down there for 10:30. But again, this is more of a yen. It's not an Aussie figure at this point, so nothing really crazy there. But I think the big things to watch on this one is if we do get the pullback, there is some basing right around the 23.6. Be cautious of it. And then again, it's going to be grindy. But I think right now the fact that if this is the top and we do start to roll again, this 50, this 86.4, this is a level we had talked about, and we had marked off before. Now, magically, if this is the top, that just happens to also be the 50. So it was a level we had predetermined. So kind of watch out for that. There was a nice little spike, so potential Harry Potter trade in there. Euro pound. There's a trade from last week. So again, parabolic retracement all the way down. You can see it bounced right off the 83.76, and now we're at that same level. So we'll take it off. So that one is done from last week. We'll use that. Actually, we're going to adjust that level a little bit. We'll just bring this across so we can see where the 50 is. Yeah, and again, here's where your profit should be, and that's exactly where we're at right now. So I'd say it looks like 83.60 is the next little level that we were looking to take over in this one. Um, hmm, Wondering if the German data is really going to continue to send this lower. Uh, Probably. Let me see. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm gonna mark one here, just because we should have some profit taking stepping in. Again, we're at the profit target, so you should have been out if you took any type of position to the downside. If we do roll, and again, this is more or less this kind of same level basing. If we bounce off of this one, right now we do have a level, a one piece top, right? A one candle top, a base, and then a pullback attempt, and then a nice push off of it. That could be a decent short right there. And again, based off the current low, if this is where it reverses, it would make sense that it reversed here, of course. That would put us right at a 50% retracement level. Okay, so that could be another potential area right there. Actually, let's throw an alert on this one, because again, if this is the bottom, it'll matter. We may take it off if it doesn't. If this is not going to be the bottom for the day, so let's throw an alert. There we go. All right. So again, got an alert there, got an alert here. So two different shorts again, both of them playing pound strength. All right, that's not bad. And again, if it pops here, you could potentially take a long if you wanted to. But again, it was target first. It would have to give us a confirmation, kind of a push up, a base, and a pullback to go higher. The way it's looking, though, it doesn't look like it's going to hold. So again, maybe alert number two comes in. Euro yen. All right, so euro yen. We talked about this again. We hit it. We hit it. We used it. We hit it again. We hit it. We hit it. We hit it. We hit it. We hit it again, and then ended up crashing. And then we hit it again, and we hit it again. So these zones, we'll leave this one, and we're going to turn it yellow because again, it's it's held, but it's not. We're not looking to take any shorts or anything off of it. It's been hit way too many times to give us really any type of confidence. And again, this is what happens in over weekends. So right now, the 132.19 is still in play. It is a little bit higher. Um, hmm. As choppy as the rest of this is, I don't really love a lot of this in here. This little peak down, there's a peak over here, maybe the 129 level. Yeah, there's just not too much wick on this one. Curious to see. Yeah, it's not even at a decent level. Yeah, I mean, honestly, besides the 120, the 132.19, I really don't like a lot until we get much, much lower, all the way down here, where we have some type of testing. And again, we know that this is a larger time frame level, so I mean, maybe here, but that's still quite a ways away. So, um, there is something going on in here. Let's see if we can find it. The market there, 123. That's an old one, so we're gonna leave that there. Uh, hmm. Yeah, it's 224, so it's not something we have to worry about today. Don't need. We needed a break of that. We Harry Pottered that one. I'm gonna pull that alert off. We don't need that alert right now. Yeah, I mean, I would say right now the only two levels I'd be concerned about are 132.19. We had the 133 up top, and then the 129. Nothing in here. Again, it was a lot of Friday data, so I'd really like to see a new decent top put in, or maybe even a nice little base on the bottom. But really, those two numbers is what I'm looking for. So nothing really great there. Here's the euro dollar trade from last week. Right, that was kicked in at noon and then continued to push all the way back down. Did make it the profit target, but we were out at the 1 to 3 at this point. I think we leave that one on there. Watch out for it. Like I said, I still wouldn't be really looking for a good long opportunity until 109.46. But there's the trade from last week. You guys are out on Friday. Actually, no, that was not Friday. That was Thursday. Yeah, then Thursday and then into Friday morning. So yeah, it's out now. We'll continue that across. Again, keep that on your radar. 111.30, and again 108.30 on the bottom. Pound yen. So pound yen, we were looking for a parabolic move. It did. It went up, and again, about noon is when it finally hit. We talked about it breaking. What would it do? Um, it didn't do much. It kind of broke and then kind of just held there over the weekend. So wasn't something we were going to hold over the weekend. We were looking for that break. Let's remove this and clean this up now. We don't need this level. I'm going to actually remove this now. Bring this back down to a 30-minute. Let's see. Now that we have new highs. Whoops. No, that's not what we want to do. We wanted to use this. We're trying to pull it a little bit there. Let's clean some of these up. We don't need the down anymore from last week. We don't need this level from last week anymore. All right, so these are two 30-minute levels for potential reversals. I'd say that's probably what we're looking for. See this again. Yeah, they're both decent. That's a nice top, and that one's not horrible either. So, here's a question. Yeah, that kind of puts us in that range. I was trying to see if this little pop will eventually pop in. Yeah, so right now we're here. So this one's going to run into the same thing that we saw with the other yen-based pair, the Aussie yen. We're at a level basing right now in the overnight, right? We're hitting it. Do we take it short from here? Doesn't really have enough room to run before we run in the buyers on the other side. It's about 40 pips. but the risk on it is a little bit higher, right? The risk on it is 25, so we need at least 75 in the other direction. It doesn't have that, and it is messing with buyers. So it's kind of the same setup. It's this, this is the yen strength coming into the market, but I don't know if we'll be able to hold this yen strength all morning. So I'd like to see it get a little bit higher. And again, I mentioned last week I was really kind of hesitant to really do any shorts in the pound at all. I do think pound strength is continuing to rise. One thing on the radar that I do have later on this week, pound wise, is Wednesday morning, obviously 3 a.m. European Open. The CPI year over year is at 6. So remember, they've already raised interest rates 3 times. They're at a 0.75. This goes to 6, and again, it's forecast at 6. This gives them the ability to go back to a full 1%. Okay, that's pretty powerful. So I think in preparation for that, we do see this go higher. So again, I'm very hesitant to be able to short the pound at all this week. I know those are fundamental reasons, not technical reasons. But again, the pound has been kind of leading the way with the interest rate hikes. So I think again, getting that year over year at 6%, it's a big thing, and they have a mandate, and that's 3 times higher than their mandate. So you know, very leery to really take many shorts in this. There'll be a small intraday shorts, but I think 157.89, and really, I mean, maybe, and again, depending on how aggressive and if we can time this one. Actually, let's turn this yellow. I have to go black. I think this 157.54 could be a decent area where we actually look for some shorts, just for an intraday pullback. But I think this one ends the week higher. Um, you can tell today is slow because everything is red. Except, well, the pound yen is close. The pound yen is trying. It's trying. It's a 0.00 right now, so it could turn red at any second. But it's like, I love this how all currencies are down, even though they're going against each other, right? So we have euro pound is red, so it means it's pound strength. But then pound yen is down, pound dollar is down. But then that shows dollar strength, right? But the dollar is down versus the CAD and the Swiss. So it's red for everybody. I love mornings like this because it just shows you that nothing's really moving. Pound dollar. We're just chopping back and forth in that sideways channel. We still have an alert sitting right up here. And again, it comes back in. That bottom was still holding 132.27. There's an alert set there. Kind of the same thing. It rallied up before the U.S. session, and now we're dealing with the sellers in those two areas. Again, small area right there. And again, another small area sitting right there. And that's what we're running into. So it's got a little bit to chunk through before we go any higher. Kind of the same thing. I'm hesitant to really short this one, although these are decent levels. And again, there will be algorithms that step in at 132.27 to take this one short. Pretty easy. But right now, we're just channeling. The highs are getting lower. The lows are getting higher, starting to consolidate in. And lack of any real news, what do you want? There's just not a whole lot that you can do there, right? So, but keep it on the radar. As I said, if you're in the Discord channel, it is set up for an alert right now. I have not closed it down yet. I said I was, but we're still in Lacrosse Hell Week with schedules right now. I'm supposed to get 2 schedules today. I had to build that schedule for 40 teams last week. So this is definitely week crazy. So I have not shut down the alert channel. So it's still technically open on the Discord channel. So, but yeah, that one will be out there. Dollar CAD. So dollar CAD, obviously the 125.93. We talked about this as being a target last week. We've kind of settled on top of it now. And again, even with oil up today, oil's up, $5. We're at 110 again. We broke through. I assumed oil would pop when the U.S. session came online. It's kind of recoupled back again. Again, with oil as high as it is, we had decoupled from it, right? The dollar CAD had decoupled from it, but it's kind of at that stage where it's kind of back again, right? It is starting to recouple again. It's interesting. Canada in this whole thing, right? So Canada, they basically they produce about 4.3, 4.4 million barrels. Um, 4 million of them get sent to the United States. A lot of times what we do is we refine the oil and then we ship it back to them at like twice the price. But oil, like gas prices, are already higher in Canada naturally anyway, which is kind of crazy. But um, we haven't heard tons about how well, like with oil this high, Canada's main export actually is oil. Like their oil and timber are their 2 big exports. It's their main export, and we've heard like nothing about how great this is going to be for the Canadian economy. So, they're obviously not super exposed to the Ukraine, right? But at the same time, they're kind of like, I don't know. They're like, hey, don't focus on us. Don't pay attention to us. So it's nice to see this one kind of pushing back down again. 125, this 126 range is a very interesting level for this pair. Um, as we're starting to see Canadian strength come back in the market. So, yeah, do I have a trade set up for here? Not really. I mean, like I said, I do think dollar strength will be coming back in. We were very, very weak last week with what we were talking about, and again, the Canadian is resyncing with oil as it should, as it absolutely should. Data out of Canada last week was also great. I think we're going to start hearing some headlines about what Canada's first raise is potentially going to look like. I would say, if anything else, I mean, obviously the United States is the main driver. I think we look to go lower first. I really feel like 125 is going to be a major number to get down to. And again, psychologically, I mean, for me, growing up, 125 was always like the magic number. I didn't know about it. I told you guys this story in the past too. That I went to Canada. I took a U.S. dollar. I went to the hotel. We were in Niagara Falls. I went to the hotel and asked for change so I could play the. Remember when hotels used to have arcades in them? And I thought it was great. You know, I gave them a one. I gave them $1, and they gave me 5 quarters. And I'm like, this is the best country ever, right? They're giving us extra coins for the and it's because back then the exchange rate was 125. So thought it was great, like greatest country ever. I can play more video games here. I think this one comes down first before it goes up. So not really anything. We know we have a big gap in here. Not really anything I'm looking to trade. I do think if anything, I would say more short this. Dollar Swiss, again, there was a trade from last week. You can see that it did blow through, hit the target twice on there. And again, obviously, eventually came all the way down to the 1 to 3 before pulling back up. So this one hit on Friday, Friday at about noon. So had you guys been following the Dollar Swiss, Ryan actually posted a great trade setup. If you guys are on Discord, check out Ryan's post. Ryan talked about how this was like the perfect masterclass setup, with this 4 hour 30 white space, everything. Nice little grab for Ryan. So again, props to him for using what he has. Wish more people would do that. But right now, again, we've kind of stopped. We had a little level here that we talked about. It wasn't one we were really looking to take much off of. Again, it hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it. We knew we had buyers here. They're confirmed that they were there. Was it strong enough to take a buy off of? Not really. And again, you can see it hit it and hit it. It's the same buyers in there, but it's not a strong push off of it. In the way that it's spacing right now, I think this one probably continues to push to the downside. Can we break through the 93? Potentially. It's only 12 pips off, and we've already hit it. If it comes lower, probably down in this level, right? That's the next area where we really have any decent buying, but I still don't necessarily love it. I like for it to be a little bit cleaner. I'd like to get some decent, and again, that one's not horrible. We have, you know, I'd say right now we're kind of skirting right down the middle, right, of this channel, right? We formed a nice strong base, formed the top. We had levels there, and now we're floating. I mean, I bet you. Let's see. I bet you it's probably at a 50, right? Yeah, we're sitting right at the 50, right? So you can see it, 50% level. It came down and actually grabbed the demand buyer. So, you know, right now it's kind of in that middle 33% where I'm not. I like it to go high or low. I'm not. I don't like the middle as much. So again, hopefully you guys got the short from last week and you're still good on it. Pound, dollar, pound. I'm sorry, dollar yen. Told you it would probably go a little higher, and right now it's doing nothing. It's trending completely sideways. In the last 24 hours, it's moved 9 pips, and that's only because we closed here, and we're literally kind of where we were Friday, right? Dropped down a little bit, spiked up, came right back down to the gap. Just boring. Nothing. No real trade setup on this one. I think the pound yen though does have the ability to go a bit higher. Um, don't really have a great level marked off, not until up to 120, so it's got about 80 pips to go. But again, it's very grindy right now, so I think there's better trading opportunity in other places. Let's go across Bitcoin. Bitcoin is basically flat. It's a little bit in the red. It kind of peaked and it's kind of pushing back down. When we talk about the median point from the low to high last week, we're kind of just a little bit above, but it's really, in looking at this, it's like it doesn't really have a trend, right? And with kind of these lower highs, it's like, listen, are we gonna push back down to 40,000? And I'd say the potential's it could be there, right? Ethereum charging a little bit more. It's up 2%, but it is getting into an area, kind of the same thing. Last week you mentioned like it's done nothing, right? And it finally blew through and then came right back down into that same level. Kind of wondering with the sellers in here, right? Sellers. Is this going to also roll? It's up 2.29%. Do we come and roll and touch back down to probably this level, right? The 28.45, most likely. Doji up a little bit, but again, it says it's up 0.35, but look what we're running into. A whole lot of sellers as well. So not necessarily the most positive. Bonds today, bonds also opening much, much lower. Again, shows you it's kind of more of a kind of typically when bonds are low like this, it's risk on, but a lot of this has to do with the interest rates and the inverse relationship. So it's nice to know we're down here. The one thing I would say about this definitely seems like it's a level to 131 where we have bond buyers coming in. Which again, if people are going to bonds, they're going to safety, which tends to be more red for the indices more than anything else. VIX, obviously VIX coming back down again, right? It's low. We're back at 24. Dollar, not really a major factor right now, 0.09. Again, we're kind of stuck and stabilized. ES, nice little, quick little spike at the open, and it's just basically doing nothing. But the way that the trajectory is moving, it cleared the Friday high, and then immediately started to roll back down again. So let's see what we would have had at the open. Yeah, I mean the open is yeah, 9:30 was up, and then 9:30 a turn, and we're basically exactly where we were. So I'd say right now, even with the VIX down right now, I'm leaning more towards the down, kind of a negative day today. Um, we have a level here, and again, I'd be a little cautious. This is not a directly straight run up, but with a break of 44.30, it looks like, yeah, 44.30. There could be a potential short in this one. Kind of want to see what we do with it. It's hit it twice. It is off of a level. Actually, I guess we could probably draw this level. Hold on. Let me move the level and actually box it off. There we go. Yeah, there's our box. Actually, it'd be a break of 44.24. Okay. I want to see what it does. Again, it's hit it twice. It can absolutely, without a doubt, it could come down here at 10:30, hit this, and turn and roll. I mean, it's getting close. I mean, we're 10:05. We got 30 minutes to go. Could we hit this and jump? Sure, we could. That would be a decent reversal level. It's done it twice. It is somewhat confirmed. Um, but if we do break through 24.24, I would say look for this one to continue to go lower. Um, oops, there. Oh, I'm just trying to move it. This. Yeah, 1 to 3 is there, so it makes sense where that target would be, right? Um, yeah, I mean, see what it does at 10:30. If we can pull down and start to base, there could be a decent reversal. There's just no catalyst today for any movement. So and ES is the strongest. So if we do get a reversal somewhere, even at this 44 20 37, wouldn't be surprised if it hits these buyers. But it very, very consolidated. But yeah, there would not have been an opening trade setup today at all. It's stuck in between two areas. So no setup there. So 0-1 so far. Same drive forward. 9:30. Yeah, this one you could have potentially got taken this one long. We were in a level of basing and we were halting right there. Let's see. I'm gonna draw it off of this side. We'll see if you would have gotten an entry. Whoops. Let's see. There. 1 to 3 would have been, yep, right there. So this one actually would have done it. And again, it's based off of this level here, right? So yeah. So okay, so we're 1 for 2 as far as opens go, right? Just because this one had the pullback. Same thing. I mean, I would say again, this one is already leading. This is the most negative right now. It's already starting to go. There would have been your basing level that we were looking to break, and again, 1, 2, kind of 3, and we're hitting it right now. So there's a smaller one. Let's see, based off of last week. Let's see where this 50 is. I'm curious to see where we have some buyers coming in. Yeah, right there. Look at that. That's probably going to be your hiccup. Is right there. It just happens to be on the 50. So let's see. 14,340. I'm sorry, 14,239.5. Um, got 20 minutes to go before the reversal time. Let me see if there's a big headline that's driving this. Um, Russia considering ban on uranium exports. That's interesting. Hmm. I love these pictures. They pick the best pictures. Hmm. Question is, let's see. As of March 2nd, U.S. utilities push White House not to sanction Russian uranium. Oh, okay. So it looks like the United States purchases uranium for its nuclear reactors, right? Although they called for it to ban Russia's products. So yeah, so it looks like Russia sells a lot of it. Looks like they sell Russian uranium to power a lot of the nuclear power plants in the world. So Russia is now starting to say, okay, that's fine. So yeah, yeah. So banning uranium exports. So looks like all those nuclear power plants in the world are going to start having to. Remember we talked. Remember we talked about that energy inflation. Yeah. Oh, you're going to cut oil? Okay. We'll go after nuclear then. So we're going to stop using uranium. Um, we're getting back in the Stone Age by the time this is all done. So that's one headline. I wouldn't say that that's probably the major move for this one, but I know again we've had such a strong push. It was a nice little fake out. So easy fake. You can see there your Globex high was there. It literally spiked right above your Globex high. Again, maybe people use that from last week, but in reality, there's your Globex high. It spiked above. People said we broke the Globex high. Go long. Bear trap. Actually, I guess it's a bull trap. It's the bull trap of the break, and then again stomp for it. So, yeah, I would say that this one is probably set up. We'll see if we can get down to the 50. There'll be people looking for that level. It is an area of buyers. There's a demand zone sitting right there. So if we come back down again, high to low, 50%, right around 14,340. Lack of any headlines. It's been a nice little whipsaw this morning already, and we'll see where the hiccup is if we get it here or if we can get a little bit farther down. If it turns here, I'll be kind of mad. But 14,240 wouldn't be bad. YM, the same kind of hiccup. Again, this one I wouldn't say was really trending high or low. Here is kind of where we ended on Friday, right? And that's exactly what we spiked into. Um, would I call this one a great trade setup? Not really. I mean, this was literally just chopping back and forth. It hadn't moved at all at 9:15, and then again 9:30, we went up, grabbed it, and turned and rolled. You could, I mean, I guess if you had it marked, it was confirmed. Actually, I guess I should correct myself. There's your confirmation of that level that there were sellers there. And again, closed here, gap lower, so it is a gap from Friday into Sunday. Yeah, I guess this is one you guys should have grabbed. You guys could have grabbed this one had you done it. Had you pre-marked this one. But we're right back down to the 34,000. Kind of the same thing. I can do the same draw on this one, high to low. 50%. There is a level there. I don't like this one as much, but there is a level sitting right there. Um, again, is it great? It's all right. But I can see why I'm turning off of that one. But 34,500. And again, why am it being industrial? They may be a little bit more affected by the uranium thing. We need 3 angry Russian photos for this article. Yeah, I know. Briggs, that's exactly what they do, right? It is absolutely hysterical. It's like, think about like okay, this is yeah, we need an angry Russian photo, okay? Like every single one of them, it's sort of like they're angry. I don't know. They look like they're constipated, right? Right. But the stock photos they use for some of these guys, it's like, my God, what are you trying to show? It's so funny. Um, yeah, and there's a guy picking them, right? There's a guy picking them. But anyway, I'd say reversal. Again, this one also has a reversal. I don't like it as much as the NQ. This one is a little bit stronger than NQ, so again, it may give us some more. But there's obviously something going on at the 34,500 is obviously a psychological level. There is one a little bit lower, and we do have algorithms that will step in just a bit lower than that, and they'll come in at 34,404. Russell, kind of the same thing, right? Russell actually at 9:30, it did the same thing. It kind of there's no other way to say this, right? There were orders above 2086 that support and resistance traders were like, hey, listen, here's a level of, we close at the high. Here's the weekly high. It's resistance, guys. If we break it, go long, right? I can't even tell you how many people were probably out there saying that one. And literally all what the market did is they said, oh, you have your buy orders at 2086. Okay. It took it to 2090 to make sure that you got in and then immediately stopped you out. If you were lucky enough to get a stop loss on. Because remember, this spiked above to trigger your order. And then if you hadn't put in, an OSO order in, by the time you were able to get your order in, you were already back down here in your buy. So yeah. So good luck. Good luck with that one. Um, so sorry. not sorry. Um, yeah, Russell. It looks like Russell is probably the strongest with the ES. And again, at this point, I mean, again, it's 10-13. This one didn't turn a level. Let me see. Oh, it did. It This one's being saved by the 50%. So yeah, so I guess if you take low to high from Friday's low to high, yeah, it ran into the 50 and again is cycling over. So and again 10-14. So it's doing it. It's doing its reversal thing, right? Not terribly surprised. Let's check out oil real quick. So yeah, oil again. There's the box up. I talked about this with Nadex. I expected it. We'd have a bit of a rally, but wasn't really interested in getting into much until the 1150 range. So we're spiking towards the 1150 range right now. Again, there's no supply zone there at all. I mean, there's a wick over wick, but you see that a lot in oil. It is at 50%, so we could potentially, you know, maybe maybe we get some reversals in here. And again, it's we're gonna touch it probably before 10:30. So could this turn in reverse here? It could. It could. Um, I'd like to see a decent base on it though. Like if we see it start to base up here, then yeah, you could potentially take it down. Like if we come up here and it's stopping and it's kind of like it's stalled, it's stalled, it's stalled. Wait for it to push down, pull back up, and then take it, right? But we'll see. We don't quite have the base for it yet. But yeah, I think this could be. You could take this off of a 50, something like that. But it's gonna have to base in here. It's gonna have to go down, and then it's gonna have to go back up again before the kind of this piece comes in. So we're not quite there yet, but it is a 50% off the high to low. Um, Again, no confirmed sellers, so this is purely a mystical, light side of the force or dark side of the force, whatever you want to say, right? Um, if you're a Jedi or Sith trader, this is what you're looking for, right? So, yeah, no true confirmed level there whatsoever. But again, it is 10:30, so we do know that we do have the time factor on us there. So it's not a complete 10:30 is right there. So it's not a complete guess, right? Not a complete guess. Natural gas. So natural gas is also approaching that 50% level. It's also starting to slow down. U.S. trader coming along, we tend to see energy prices go a bit higher. Um, yeah, it's all right. If you weren't short this one in the overnight, it's already too late to get in. I'd say look for a bounce potentially off that 50 level. I like the 468 a little bit better, but again, being 50% from high to low, um, there are going to be people looking at this, $4.75. Um, they're going to look at 474 and be like, "Ooh, that's a good one." And there is a level there. I mean, there technically is a level, right? There's an area of buyers, and again, a nice little pop off of it. We've broken through this level now, and actually, did it pull back? Yeah, it did. It pulled back here. I guess we can leave it there. So, yeah, maybe a potential long off that level, something along these lines. And again, 10:30 reversal of that same thing. But overall, I mentioned last week, still bullish oil, bearish natural gas because of seasonal changes, and again, that one is down. Gold continuous spike a little bit, so this one is not collapsed. Again, U.S. commodities, we're starting to drive this one higher, and again, this could be a little bit of that uranium call, but um, yeah, I'd say until we get back up, again, this one has a couple small levels. Obviously, a level basing right here with a touch. For this morning, I would say that probably wouldn't be a bad rollover point. This 940, 940.70. And again, that's coinciding with the reversal times as well. But really, until we get a little bit higher, I'm not, you know, there's a few small levels in here. Um, Again, the Sunday night really kind of chopped through this one, so we can delete it now. Take that 922 off. We're gonna leave this line here just because again, it's so much basing in there. But yeah, I'd like to hit this 1880 89 this week. So it's like, oh, Bostic speaking. Let's go up. Silver. Silver taking the same chop. I think silver's going to have some issues going forward at this point. This one kind of has the same thing. Basing sitting here. You have basing right here, and it was touched. You have a decent base there as well, and that's what we're running into. Let's see, has there been any more headlines? No. Nope. Nothing else. Pal speaking. 2 hours. Curious if both these two can rally up high enough, right? If we can get gold and silver to rally high enough in the next 2 hours, and then we talk about inflation. So I expect that he's going to mention something along the lines of that we're going to see inflation to probably continue this year, but then because of all the great things that they're doing with raising interest rates, we'll start to see a decline in it. I'm wondering if that's what's rallying all this up because they're going to acknowledge the fact that it's going to continue to grow, which should technically be positive. But the question is, do we get up to an area of sellers before Powell speaks? Because if so, that obviously leads us into an area where we can, you know, start taking some shorts. Hmm, it is 2 hours. God, I wish he would just, I'm trying to think. His last speech was, I think his last speech was, remember, because he never does the hawkish, dovish, you know, in a predictable pattern. But hmm, yeah, I think both are probably in the same position. I want to see if we can get up there. But like I said, I think this could provide some spark today. Um, it's the only thing we got. It's really the only thing we got. But the way that gold is spiking now, there could be some decent sells. But I think 1940 is one to watch. Um, with these all dropping too, yeah. So hmm, overall, I think where all these are driving, the way that they're driving down right now off of really lack of any news, I think they're setting up for him to mention that we're going to have, we don't want to go too hard. We don't want to shock the economy. And he's going to talk about how the economy is bad and how they're going to be slow and, slow to, slowly raise things for the rest of the year, right? Because of the Ukraine and because of that. And they're going to use every excuse in the book. That should be overall positive for all the indices. So that could give us a nice little push. So again, with all these coming red right now and approaching 50% fib levels, there'll be a lot of kind of, computerized based trading coming in there. Probably not a bad place to start looking for some longs. The closer we can get as it starts to slow down, and again, 10:30 is where a lot of those reversals will start to kind of kick in, or slowing should kick in. But yeah, I think he could provide a boom today because again, lately he's just been talking about slow pace, slow pace, slow pace, slow pace, slow pace. 25%, or 0.25, 0.25, 0.25. That's pretty weak, and the market likes that, so could be good. Um, Besides that, I mean, I keep clicking. I'm like, hey, please give us a headline. And we don't have any headlines. So, unfortunately, we're kind of at a standstill. I mean, currencies, even now, I mean, they're still just doing really nothing, even with the US market. I guess the yen is kind of coming in a little bit, but that's it. And VIX is, I don't know. I mean, I guess when you talk about uranium, we're kind of coming off a level. Again, dollar is completely flat in there. Um, Tech is mixed. Apple looks like it's heading down. Tesla, same picture. So again, getting that negativity in these two, and again, oil. Um, Again, oil is also approaching right at that 10:30 time frame. This level, and Powell will probably mention something about oil prices, um, about the need to make this lower. So that could provide an opportunity too. We'll see. Maybe we base in here and then we do a little pullback right before Powell speaks, and the need to reduce oil pricing because again that will strain the economy. So that could provide something. Um, yeah, I will only typically trade it for Swiss news, and there's not really tons of Swiss news. But yeah, you can. Yeah, so Briggs, great question. I know we're on multiple platforms, and you can't all see the chat because he's on Twitch. He asked if we ever look at Swiss yen or ever trade Swiss yen. Yeah. So basically, when you're looking at your economic news releases for the week, right? Obviously, not all of them are U.S. based. So like you have a press conference over here, or you have German data that you want to trade, right? Or you have something like um, where is it? Something like this, where you have Bailey and Powell speaking all at the same time on Wednesday, right? So he's participating in a virtual discussion on emerging challenges of central bankers. Oh, they're in the same thing. So won't necessarily matter. But there'll be times where there's overlaps. You'll see like dollar and CAD both having data at the same exact time. So when you're trading, when you want to trade a currency but remove the U.S. from it, you always trade it against the yen because the yen is a counter currency only. It's never in the first position, just like the euro is never in the second position. Okay, it's always in the first because its charter says that it always has to be the first pair. Okay, the yen, it's not in their like charter because they don't have a charter, but they're always in the second position. They're always a counter currency. So if you wanted to trade Canadian news, you don't typically want to trade dollar CAD with Canadian news because there's typically US news at the same time and their economies are somewhat linked. So you trade it against the yen. New Zealand news. You could trade New Zealand news versus the dollar, right? But again, you typically want to trade it against a pair that has less influence, which tends to be the yen. So like New Zealand news, New Zealand yen. The only time I look at New Zealand yen news is when only time I look at New Zealand yen currency pair is when there's New Zealand news. And Aussie, same thing. Aussie yen is a great pair to trade, right? Euro yen, great trade. Great trade to great pair to trade when you have European news. Pound yen, also the same thing, right? So like if you have European news release, looking at something like the Euro New Zealand, it's going to have a huge spread. It's going to be really really wide because it's not really a liquid pair. Trading the euro dollar, it'll have a smaller spread. But again, the reasons why European data is bad will also spill over and affect the U.S. economy. And it's kind of like, well, what about the dollar? Where you trade it like something versus the yen because that's considered a weak counter currency. So hopefully that kind of makes it easy for you, or kind of explains it a little bit more. So yeah, you can absolutely do it. And for something like where you have Swiss monetary policy, like this one right here, right? For the monetary policy on Thursday, this is absolutely one of those news releases, Briggs, that yes, you should be looking at the Swiss yen on that morning, right? Don't trade it versus the dollar, right? Pound, dollar Swiss has its own kind of political based, kind of not, you know, I forget, I can't think of the right word for it, but yeah, Swiss yen is when you would trade, you would look at it for this one, right? Not expected to change anything, but talking about when they could potentially raise, that could be a big boom for the Swiss yen. Okay. All right, 1026. Let's go ahead and do our drawing for today. Like I said, unfortunately, not every day is big trading days. Today's one of those days. It's just there's no real big major catalyst, no economic events, no nothing really. And unfortunately, this is sometimes what we have to deal with. It's not bad, And again, start of the week, kind of look to see where some of those levels are. But this is obviously a morning of traps. They've been trapping index traders all morning today. I'm sure there's quite a few day traders this morning that lost some money where they're like, "Oh, it's breaking through. So I know support and resistance. I read that book," and yeah, I'm sure they got kind of stopped out rather quickly. Um, yeah, the quote experts. So, all right. With that said, Marina won. I think Friday, right? Marina, you won Friday. I think so. 2, 3. Briggs is going in big today. All right, and it's back to 25. So we did everything from last week. So, all right, winner of today's drawing is Ernest. Look at that, Ernest had 2. So Ernest starting off the week strong. We'll see if Big E can go crazy this week. Let's get Ernest his 25. Big E starting up there. Ernest, I just got to tell you too. I don't know if Texas is affected. I feel like Texas is probably a bit more insulated, right? I feel like it's probably a bit more insulated from meat prices. But how bad are your meat prices now? Like ours were starting to get pretty nuts. Like to where I was like, wow, do I need that? Like, ribs were $1 more a pound, and I was like, man, really? It's like, Oh wait, it's not rigged. Yeah, I don't know what it's like there. And Marina, I don't know if you're still on. Marina, what is gas? I'm curious. We got to 430, 440, something like that. I can't buy beef in Texas. Yeah, it's great. You're going to Oklahoma to buy beef? Wait, did we ban Ernst? Marina, what is gas prices in Cali right now? I'm curious to see. Like, I don't know if Cali did the tax ban, like, or not tax ban, but tax whatever, tax holiday, like we did. I know Will said still around 550. Okay, Yeah, I know that Will said that he saw the tax difference where the state stopped it. Maryland stopped it, but I didn't. I don't think California was going to do the tax holiday on gas. So yeah, 5.50 a gallon. I can't even imagine. I don't know. I feel like I would never want to leave my house. Like I would tell my kids, like, hey, listen, guys, here's a bike. You can ride to the school. Ride to the school, lock it up, and then afterwards you can ride home. So I had to take a second mortgage to buy a ribeye in Texas. Oh, yeah. Hey, where am I? 40? Oh, where? What position, Briggs? You're asking for your position? Um, you're in position 26. You're on page 2. Not 40, page 2. So, all right. With that said, I'm out of here, guys. 10:29. I got to go grab the boy. And I think I my wife has already made me promise I'm not going to get roped into coaching girls lacrosse too. But Jen's gonna have her first outdoor real field practice today. She's already got cleats. I gotta go get her a stick. So hopefully tomorrow I'm not explaining to you how I got roped into coaching girls as well. But with that said, I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning. Again, remember 8:45 to 9. I'll be on for Nadex, and then tomorrow's session is at noon. And it is Tuesday. So I will do a big breakdown for the week. So with that said, thank you guys for attending today, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Take care.